In this illustration, we have the internet and a firewall, and I just want to quickly kind of put up a switch and some network infrastructure here. Now, I had mentioned earlier that a lot of these firewalls run a version of Linux or UNIX. And this has become quite an interesting problem for IT security in general, and is sort of a cautionary tale about what happens when you have an operating system running on a device and not really the means to monitor and see whether or not there's a new version of the software out. It's recently been disclosed, and in fact there's an internet worm, several of them running around, that are scanning for firewalls, specific makes and models of firewalls that have either a service running on them that was not really, I'm going to say, secured, and what happens is the bad guys are able to infect the actual firewall itself and take it over. Now you might ask yourself, if they're taking over my firewall, what can they actually do? Well, the answer is quite a bit. One of the most common tactics is to change the DNS settings on the actual firewall. What that does is it now forces the traffic to use DNSs that might redirect those various websites that you're visiting to hostile sites and further infect the network over here and all your endpoint devices. So one of the key strategies that you need to keep in mind for your firewall is to treat it like any other hardware device, in that register it and make sure that you get the alert emails when there's a patch or update for the actual firewall itself. That'll go a long way in keeping the rest of this network nice and safe from the bad guys. One last thing to consider as well too is proper segmentation of your network becomes a key, because perhaps maybe there's these devices over here that are your point of sale and they only need to go to one place on the internet. And what you want to do is make sure that there's a rule on your firewall that allows traffic from these guys over here out to an IP address on the network here and no other place. That'll go a long way in keeping the point of sale, or maybe the accounting department or the payroll department, safe. The rest of these workstations are obviously going to need specific internet access to go and do things on the internet, so you'll have to program the firewall for that as well. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to subscribe.